I promise to not get mad discussing Jim Jones versus Nas. What up, where's your boy Challz Brown back again talking facts. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe, hit the notification bell. Keep sending those Cashapp to CLBMG. Join the membership gang. Listen, I have my Grey Goose and mango. Got me some Ruffles potato chips. I suggest you get a snack because we're going to be here for a while. I don't know how long, but it may take me some time to get through this whole debacle, Jim Jones versus Nas conversation that started innocently by a YN named Eli. I want to discuss all of this. And if you're here for the long haul, I appreciate you. If you're not and you got to check out, that's fine. Either way, I'm going to be here for a minute. If you have ever watched me, sometimes I get passionate. Like Jim Jones says, he's passionate. Sometimes I get passionate. So this time I decided, gang, listen, don't get too passionate. Don't get mad, right? But this, I can already feel it. I can already feel it. I feel like this is going to irritate me really badly. But I'm trying to be better, right? Kinder and gentler, right? I'm trying to be smarter with this YouTube stuff, right? Don't want to curse in the first 8 minutes and all that good stuff like that. Just rules. They got rules. But I am going to discuss this. You know I defend hip-hop to the fullest, and I'm going to explain why this is irritating. And the simple fact of the matter is, this is why motherfuckers don't like old heads. Okay, let me just start here. I'm going to start from the start. This is why we get so much trouble out in the world from old heads, right? Because we get ego-driven. We get in our feelings and our emotions, even me. We rewrite history, and we say things we shouldn't say, and we really don't mean. All right? And I want to talk about why Jim Jones' ego allowed him to say something so ridiculous. Right? I want to have a conversation. Listen, get you some ho-hos. If you like zingers or something, some Planters peanuts, some Kool-Aid, right? Because I'm going to be here for a while, and I got a lot to talk about. I want to talk about what transpired over the last few days. A young guy, and I did a little research. Salute to Derek Williams. He has a podcast, right? It's called Don't Quote Me. If you go on YouTube or anywhere, just put Don't Quote Me. Salute to these men, these black men doing their thing. I appreciate you. I never heard of it until this clip went viral. But on Don't Quote Me, on Derek Williams' YouTube channel, they brought up some young guys. One was named Eli. I see the other young man here, but I don't necessarily remember his name offhand. And they talked to him like we should do. They say you should communicate with the younger people. We should be engaging them and asking their opinion, right? And what I'm not gonna let y'all do, I'm gonna try to be as respectful as I can. I'm not gonna let y'all tear this young man down, but we gonna direct him and guide him in the right path. And this is what I want to say. First thing first, young Eli, who has admitted he has gotten reached out to from Capo, aka Jim Jones. Jim Jones has DM'd him. What they have talked about remains we don't know what they talked about, but I'm sure he patted him on the back for being so. He was very kind and he was very respectful to the legacy of Jim Jones, almost to the point where it was a little delusional. Let's just be honest, but he's a young guy, so we're going to cut him some slack. Now, this starts back when Eli was on this podcast and they asked him, they were talking about Jim Jones to some degree, right? And I want to play this clip because first things first, this kid is 22 years old, right? He says he's from Jersey, right? Now, I get it. We're supposed to communicate with these young kids, but sometimes these young kids don't really know what they're talking about. I'm just going to be honest. And sometimes what I've learned about this situation in this new culture, we got this thing called stan behavior. So sometimes you could be asking somebody a straight up honest hip hop question and they go into stan mode, right? Where logic don't matter in stan mode, gang. We seen it all year. We saw the bubble bath rapper and his stans going absolutely batshit crazy with narratives that don't make no sense. So this is what we're seeing in real time. Salute to young Eli. I'm not going to disrespect him in the slightest. Derek Williams, do not worry at all. I'm not going to disrespect young Eli whatsoever. right? But I do want to have this conversation because young Eli is young, right? He's 22 years old. So to him, this stuff make perfect sense. And then we want to get to Jim Jones. See, this is what people don't understand. Everybody's mad, right? They mad at the kid. They mad at Jim Jones. We united in hip-hop in our anger about this situation because it's so crazy. But some of these people actually agree with young Eli. Let's just be honest. Especially the young guy. Every time this year. Remember when 21 Savage dissed Nas? A lot of the young YNs was in the group chat. They were on Twitter. They agreed with it. Nas is not relevant. Everybody year and a half, be honest with yourself. We got to defend Nas. I'm just going to be honest. Somebody takes his legacy for granted. It happens every single year. And then we got to go out and show the internet, bang, bang, bang. Don't play with him, right? But it happens, and we deal with it accordingly. And young Eli, let's be kind to him. He's only 22 years old, right? I probably got some shoes as old as young Eli. I'm just going to be honest. Okay? So I want to play what young Eli said. And I want to start there because Jim jumps in and gets all of his feelings, and that's where it went left. Young Eli did enough, right? He did enough for young guys for their reputation in this situation. He did enough, but that was you know what? We could guide him, like, you know what I'm saying? When you slap him on the head, bow, you pop him on the hand, you correct him. Okay. Jim is where the problem came when he went on Joe and Jada and started beating on his chest, talking about check the stats, Joe Mo got this, right? That's where the problem came. So, but let's start with young Eli. Let me play what he said that got Jimmy all in his feelings.
You saying Jim Jones has more hits than Nas?
I'm from New Jersey. We grew up on ballin'.
That's one.
We did not grow up on one mic. Pop Champagne, Summer in Miami. That's a classic.
If I Rule the World, how does that compare?
I'm going to stop right there. See, I have to do this because this is some things that happen to. So this is where we get into what is a classic to certain people, right? I don't know what community, what group chat you're in where you're saying Ballin' and Pop Champagne are classics. This is where the disconnects start right here, Eli. And I get it. Certain people have different motives and different moves when they go to their catalog of hits that they want to hear. Some people love riding around blasting Pop Champagne. It's a tough record. Let's be honest, it's a tough record. Pop Champagne is a hard-ass beat. I'm not going to fool in front on you. But he said one mic. Nas got better records than one mic. Let's just be honest. And I get it. He's trying to make a point, and he's tongue-in-cheek. He's trying to he's picking one of Nas's like da-da-da. Well, that record sold millions, gang. Okay? Let's just be honest. I'm going to have a whole conversation, but no, one mic, that's not a party record. You put up two party records against a record that's not a party record. Okay? Nas is not a party rapper, but that's not what Eli cares about. He's saying the Miami record, the Pop Champagne record, they're classics where he's from New Jersey, right? Some parts of New Jersey, okay? And 22 years ago, what? Like, some of this stuff, I don't even know bro was old enough when some of these songs came out. I'm just going to be honest. I think he was like 2 and 3 when some of this stuff came out, okay? But I'm going to let him cook. I'm going to let him finish, and we're going to get there.
Comparable to those songs you just said.
I'm 22. Every Nas song that my man MJ played, we said we heard that from what, Dub?
2K.
2K. Those songs are in the video game. Okay. I have never in my life said at a party, yo, throwing that Nas right now. If you did top 3 influential people regarding dressing, swag, Jim Jones is top 3.
So he went from rapping to influential people. Let's just start here. Jim Jones was on Love and Hip Hop. Jim Jones was on Wildin' Out. Jim Jones is on social media. Jim Jones actively goes out of his way to be relevant and current. Okay? Nas just makes music. Nas just makes money. Nas invested in Ring doorbells, right? The security system that has gone global. Nas invested in that in its early stages. Nas does shit like that. All right? They two different animals, gang. But he don't know that and he don't care. He just remembers balling, which, allow me a second, gang. Let me see. It's 2025. So 2015, 2005, 2004, 2003. This kid had to be born around 2003. Am I bugging? I could be wrong. My math, don't be mathing all the time. But if this kid was born in 2003, what the hell year did Ballin' come out? And I get it, songs have longevity, they keep going, da-da-da. But just give me a second. Just sip your wine, whatever you got going on. Let me find out what year Ballin' came out, gang. Because this is absolutely insane to me. This is insane to me, gang. That we're having this conversation that a kid that was born in 2003 is trying to tell us that this is popping. And don't get me wrong, it did pop, all right? Don't get me wrong, it did pop. It did pop. All the Vampire Life, this, that, and the third, it popped, okay? Ballin' came out in 2006. If my math is mathing, this kid was 3 years old when Ballin' came out, okay? I'm just making the point that you were 3 and you're trying to say what's popping between Nas and Jim Jones. And see, this is where the problem get. And he's standing in his conviction, right? And I know you young, but you got to own these words. When you standing in this conviction, we get a right to ask you follow-up questions. How do you know what was popping when you were 3 years old, gang? I'm just going to be honest. I'm just going to ask the questions, young Eli. How do you know what was popping at 3 years old? So what I'm going to go for and say his surroundings kept that record alive till he was 10 and 11 and 13, okay? His surroundings. So his surroundings meaning his moms and pops. He don't know what, he said, I don't know one Nas record. We got to blame moms and pops. I know moms and pops know some Nas records, and I'm just going to even go a step further. I'm sure they played Nas around him, right? But to be honest, in these streets these days, they want to hear certain things that they want to hear. And I'm going to even be even more honest. Around that time, Nas had kind of took a step back from hip-hop. But what we're not going to do is make it like somehow because Nas took a step back from hip-hop and Jim Jones had a hot record in 2006, that somehow Jim Jones is more relevant in 2025. Nas literally just got a Grammy like 2-3 years ago for a record that he just dropped. We're gonna get to all that, right? We're gonna get to how crazy Jim Jones sound, making it like Nas is so much older. My idols become my rivals. We're gonna be here for a while. But the simple fact of the matter is, young Eli is saying that Ballin' was it, and One Mic wasn't it. So let me keep this moving.
And Nas influenced Jim Jones.
Cap, Chrome.
So that's what he don't understand. All of this, what he says in the thing, I haven't played it yet, but he talks about how influential Jim Jones' clothing and his gear and his fashion. And Jim Jones himself says in an interview a few years ago that Nas influenced all of everything he does with fashion. Nas influenced that. He said his first raps of hearing that drug talk, that fashion talk, that street talk, that hood shit was Nas. He was the first one doing it at a high level that made him want to be who he is. He influenced him what he became. He said he idolized that man, which later, I'm probably gonna get a little irritated later when I discuss how he talks about the man, but you said you idolize him. I don't like that. I don't like when people say I idolize somebody, then they talk shit like I condone them, right? I don't like that. I'm just gonna be honest. I don't like it. You can't idolize me, then try to shit on me at the same time. It don't work. Maybe that's that Harlem shit, that Dame Dash shit. I don't know. I know how these Harlem niggas, they different. But what I'm saying is this. He's talking a lot of slick stuff, and we're going to get to that later. Nas ain't my era, right? Nas is 51. Jim Jones is 48. Y'all niggas in high school at the same time. How much era, what are we talking about? Every category Nas literally beats him clean. It's not even close. And Jim Jones is very disrespectful because this is what happened with these old head niggas. They forget shit. Right? They forget how nasty this motherfucker. They forget that this guy was in one of the biggest, probably one of the top 3 biggest hip-hop rap battles in the history of fucking the world, and he won his battle. But he forgets that. And now he's trying to put himself on the same, what level, and I'm gonna be respectful to Jim Jones, but what big battle has Jim Jones won in this thing when you're telling us you on the same level as Nas? What battle? See, I'm not gonna let y'all get me mad today. I'm gonna be okay? But this is starting to irritate me when I think about this nigga saying this wild ass shit. And I get it, he's in his emotions, he's on the couch, and I've probably been hearing all week that when Lil Eli when they put this little video out of Lil Eli talking about, yo, it's Jomo, da. So he got in his feelings because he probably read the comments, right? He probably read the comments and everybody was saying this and that and the third. And that right there tells you everything you need to know. Young Eli, everybody in the comments is calling you crazy and calling him crazy. But you're saying he's more influential. You're saying that he's more relevant. But in the comments, 98% of them telling you you're luncheon, you're on a whole different kind of crack. Because nobody believes you, nobody agrees with you. Maybe about 5, I'll give you 10%. 90% agrees with each other, 10% agrees with you. Right? There is no way that ratio can say that he's more relevant. It doesn't make any sense. But here we are. And I'm going to be honest, young Eli, I like that he stood on it because they came back, they brought him back a few days later or however long it was. And he came back and said, I said what I said, I stand on it. He said, Jim Jones hit me in the DM and that's my man. I don't know what he got cooking up. He going to give him this, that, and the third. But young Eli, I respect him, salute to him for standing on it, but it don't make you right. You said he's more relevant. He got more songs, this and that and the third. In your household, that's what I'm going to say. Had to be in your household while you were playing 2K and this, that, and the third, right? Some of these households is different. Some of these households is pushing a different kind of brand of hip-hop, right? Rap. Let's just not get it fucked up. Jim Jones is doing rap. This when these drug dealing niggas got into hip-hop after it had already started making money. Us hip-hoppers was there before it was making money. We was fucking with it before it was making money. Let's just be honest. Jim Jones came in. Jim Jones was an awful rapper. He was terrible. I'm just going to be honest. Jim Jones is the weakest one in the whole Dipset. Some of y'all going to say, fuck that, it's Freaky Zeke. Listen, I'm telling you, for the consensus, and no disrespect to Jim Jones, and he got better. I say it all the time. Jim Jones making the best music of his life in the last 7, 8 years. Jim Jones has become a really good rapper. I'm just going to be honest. Jim Jones has become top tier. I've been saying that for years, at least. Maybe 10 years I've been saying that. I said, Jim Jones actively got physically and his attributes, you can look and say, without a question, Jim Jones has gotten much better. He's extremely improved from what he used to be. He's one of the, I would even say, I'm just going to say, be honest. I know some of y'all are going to agree with this. That's a stretch. He's an elite rapper, almost an elite rapper. He's very good. Let's say that at this point. He's making some of the best music of his life. Jay-Z signed him to Rock Nation. You're not going to act like he didn't. Jay-Z put him on Tidal with an exclusive deal. So Jay-Z, which was, and you know how Jay do, he signed you because you was beefing with him. Then when y'all make friends, he signed you. It's a power move, but he did it, right? And Jim Jones happily went up to the Tidal offices and this, that, and the third and signed them contracts, and he was working with Jay-Z. So Jay-Z saw something in him, right? So I'm just telling you, he did improve. He makes some of the best music of his life. But what happens with us old heads, we get it all fucked up because we got some clothing lines selling and we've been doing our thing for a few years. We got a hit record here and there, but these numbers not even close. Jim, I'm just gonna be honest. Nas killing you in every fucking way, gang. It ain't even fucking close. Like you didn't even Google the shit before you said it. Like it's not even close, gang. Like in no stat, nowhere, Spotify, nothing. You ain't beat him in one stat. You said check the numbers. Put my numbers against Nas, and I get it, but we're not going to erase what you said because you said it just out of passion. You still said it, right? Like Maury Povich, that determined the lie detector determines that is a lie. You are not more popular than Nas in absolutely no way, shape, or form. Not even close. And they've been going at it for a minute. I'm gonna get to this old video of Nas responding to Jim Jones back in 2005. Somebody pulled that clip up on Twitter where he said, I don't really want to hear no diss record from Jim Jones, but we're gonna get to that in a minute. Listen, get your popcorn, stay here. I'm gonna cook for a minute. So let me finish with little young Eli, right? Let me finish what young Eli said, because he said some very poignant situational things.
Influence Jim Jones.
Cap, Chrome Hearts and the BB Simons belts and all that. Jim Jones is like top 3.
So where you put Max B?
Nobody was wearing Ed Hardy. Nobody was wearing True Religion. Nobody was wearing Chrome Hearts. All that was white biker stuff. He brought that into the culture.
Well,
And how old are you, real quick?
23.
23.
So Nas from
So his man starts speaking, but what he was saying was that Ed Hardy, Max B brought that in, and what he probably was going to say is Jim Jones with the vamp life, this and that and third. And I'm going to be honest, gang, this is some real shit. I remember the conversation. It was probably like 06, 08 when everybody was talking about and I'm going to say this respectfully, that Jim Jones was catering to kids. Jim Jones was catering to a younger market, and I guess it worked, because young Eli's sitting here telling you that Jim Jones is more relevant than Nas. Remember the conversation, like, you in your 30s and 40s still catering to kids? Remember that conversation? Y'all forgot about that? See, this is the thing with kids. Kids is easy to impress. Kids are impressed by shiny things, nice clothes, nice cars, right? Why do you think every kid in the hood want the drug dealer's car? Because it's a nice car. It's shiny. It's beautiful. He got girls in that car. He got a pimp cup, whatever, da-da-da. They love that shit. That's why they're easy to impress. See, what happens with hip-hop is as it gets older, we get more mature and we have to go to work, raise families, get married, do things on the holidays. We got to make things happen for Christmas. We got to buy Christmas gifts. Things get more realer, gang. And having the new Air Force Ones, this, that, and the third, sometimes gonna come secondary to your real life. So you stop caring about that. You don't care about True Religion jeans and Ed Hardy shirts. Okay? That's why hip-hop they try to say hip-hop is a young man's game. The reason they say that, because the things that used to move you don't move you no more. So when the older guy starts saying that same shit, it don't move you the same. So then you gotta, if you're gonna keep saying that same shit, you're gonna need a younger audience to feed into it. I remember years ago, it was a whole conversation about, do you as an older statesman, like your late 30s, your early 40s, are you still making music for kids? And that was a big debate. And Jim Jones was one of the people that was in discussions in that debate, that a grown man should not be making music for kids. But that's where we ended up with Jim Jones doing things, making music, and I told you he got better. That was a long time ago. That was years ago when Jim Jones was, to me, aiming for kids. I'm just going to be honest. Jim Jones was aiming his music, and he says it all the time. It ain't my fault that these kids gravitate to me. It low-key is, because that's your demographic you're trying to reach. And us real hip-hop heads, we was never in it to reach kids. We wanted to reach our peers, and that's what Nas wants to do. Yes, Nas gonna make a record for the kids. He's gonna make a one mic. I know, I can't. Yeah, he gonna make music for the kids specifically, but he's still talking to the adults, even though he's speaking about the kids. It's at a higher level. The lyricism is better. Jim Jones knows that. That's why he was his idol. But you get disingenuous, and I get it. You're supposed to beat your chest. Nobody can beat me as a rapper. Yeah, we say that. You're not supposed to be feeling like you can beat him. Right, Jim? You're not supposed to be like, he can beat me. I feel like, I'm the best rapper in the world. Say that. But stop yourself short when you know this man's legacy goes back to 1994, and you said yourself, you were in 11th grade, right? You were looking up to him, and you were idolizing him. Now you're like, idols become rivals. No, you ain't his rival. You're not on his level. It's like a D-League team talking about the Lakers as my rivals. You don't even play these niggas. You're not playing. You thought you was playing the same game as this nigga? Is this what you really thought? There's no way you thought that you was playing the same level as Nas was. Absolutely no way. And this where the disconnect comes in, because people get mad at Jim Jones for saying the shit he said. This is where the problem starts at. It ain't young Eli. Young Eli just a child. He don't know what he's talking about, but he's impressed with the fashion. He never said this guy. Well, he did say he make his albums better. I'm gonna get to that. Let me finish with Eli, and then I'm gonna get to Jim Jones. I'm getting ahead of myself, man. But let me finish with young Eli.
First dropped 94, right? So that's a different time period where this is not really even checking for numbers yet. He came in at a period where just checking for the skill of the game. You're comparing two different eras, and I feel like it's a little bit disingenuous.
It's the difference between being in the game and being relevant. But Jim Jones is more relevant than Nas.
Let me stop you right there. He says a difference between being in the game. What game, my nigga? What game, my nigga? So Nas has 9.2 million Spotify listeners. Jim Jones don't even have 1 million listeners. What game we talking about, Eli? I'm not going to get mad, gang. I'm not going to get mad. But I want to know what young Eli's talking about. Nas has 9.2 Spotify listeners. Jim Jones has 860K. What game we talking about, Eli? See, this is what happens when niggas don't know what they talking about. White niggas, old niggas, whatever nigga. He don't know what he's talking about. This is stan culture. What game we talking about? Nas' net worth is 80 million. Jim Jones is 10 million. What game we talking about? Let me know when they on the same field playing the same game, gang. Let me know when they warming up on the same court. This ain't even close. Nas has 79 singles released. Jim Jones has 47, right? Nas has 15 plus Billboard hot entries. 15 plus. Jim Jones has 2. When are we going to start playing in the same game? Let me know, gang. I don't see it yet. I don't see the same warm-up jerseys. They not in the same league, gang. It's not even close. But Young Eli don't know that because he's a stan. Nas has 8 platinum albums. Jim Jones don't even have 1. What are we talking about? Please. I need to know. Let me know, Eli, what game we playing. Because we not playing the same game, gang. I'm just going to be honest, Young Eli. This is called a teachable moment. Abbott Elementary on some shit right now, gang. Let me just keep this, because I got more stats. But I want to talk to Young Eli, who thinks Vamp Life is on the same level as what Nas got going on. Okay? Let me let him finish though. I'm sorry, Young Eli. I interrupted you. Let me keep this pushing.
Jim Jones and Nas are in the same era. Jim Jones is 48 years old. Nas is 51 years old. Jim Jones just wasn't a rapper and didn't know how to rap when Nas was rapping. No matter what Jim Jones has improved to, it's still not.
And see, homie is cooking because he's teaching young boy, listen, Jim Jones may have got better, but he wasn't even, when Nas was at his peak, Jim Jones wasn't even rapping. Jim Jones wasn't even rapping yet when Nas was already considered one of the greatest alive. Jim Jones wasn't even rapping yet. But somehow Young Eli feels that somehow Jim Jones caught up to him, became more relevant to him, and makes better music than him. Right? Let me keep this pushing.
But you know,
it's funny? The last Nas album is not better than the last Jim Jones album. It's not better than the last 3 Jim Jones albums. By bars, by everything. El Capo
is better.
The Deluxe is better than King's Disease.
So what I'm going to do right here, Young Eli, I'm going to say that's not a fact. And I'm even go even further. I ain't even hear that shit. Huh? What'd you say? I didn't even hear that shit. And I know it ain't better than King's Disease. Okay? Just for y'all niggas that don't know, I don't need to hear it to know it ain't better than nothing Nas is doing. Okay? I already know what Jim Jones, it's only going to say but so many things anyway. Okay? No disrespect, but it is what it is. He don't have the skill set. You know how some people just don't have the skill set? Let's do this. You can go to Jersey, New York, put 10 niggas together. Put all the basketball players you want, get them all together. Put them all, get whoever, Hot Sauce, whoever you want to get them, and then we're going to let them niggas play the Lakers, and we're going to see what happens. Right? It's going to be pretty ugly. They're going to look good for a little bit, and then it's just going to start to get ass. It's just going to get ridiculous. Okay? I'm just going to be honest. They're playing a different level game than you. They're playing at a higher level. And I get it. Jim Jones is a rapper. He's in his feelings and he wants to be taken serious. And it irritates him when you guys don't give him the respect he gets. I get that. But you can't lash out and get out your lane about a guy you know does everything in every single kind of way better than you. I'm just going to be honest. Now, Young Eli, he don't know no better. He's a stan. He's a fan. He loves Jim Jones, which is fine. But that's what happens when we put people up there. They're not really talking about hip-hop. They're talking about their favorite artists. It's 2 different things. If that's my favorite artist, that's one thing. I get it. You can only get, they reaching out to young people, giving them platform, salute, right? Salute. Let's see, the Don't Quote Me podcast. Salute to the Don't Quote Me podcast, Direct Williams and all that, right? And I'm going to keep it a buck. I followed them and everything. I went and followed them. I appreciate what they do. But at the same time, he is not a hip-hop head. Because he wouldn't be talking about, I only heard of Nas. First of all, he don't know no Nas records, and he only heard Nas on 2K. Who fault is that? That sounds like your parents wasn't playing you some real shit. And I'm not gonna disrespect your parents, but they was playing you a lot of Jim Jones and not a lot of Nas. That don't mean Nas is not good as Jim Jones. Don't make him better. Nas ain't never been on Love and Hip Hop for relevancy. He ain't never been on Love and Hip Hop. He ain't never been on Wild 'N Out, as far as I know. And he wasn't no special guest appearance on there. He wasn't every week on there, even if he did go on there. He might have did a favor for Nick Cannon, but he ain't need to be on there. So, just on the rumor mill, let's just be honest, when you go to Love and Hip Hop, your career pretty much in trouble. I don't know, no nigga in his prime that went on Love and Hip Hop. I ain't see Eminem on there. I ain't never see Jay-Z on there. And I ain't never see Nas on there. So what we're going to do is we're not going to act like this guy is more relevant than the dude that's looked at as, this dude been in almost every moment in history of importance. This dude was standing in nose to nose with Tupac in the park, holding his own. This ain't that, gang. This a different animal. This ain't going on Love and Hip Hop for relevancy. Let's just be honest. But now, what I want to do is shift gears. So we talked to Young Eli. He's a fan. He got his inbox from Jim Jones, and that's great. For a time, that's good. Salute to him. I'm not trying to knock him or disrespect him. And he made it a teachable moment. But what the problem was, when we got over here, right, to Jim Jones and Joe and Jada, and what I'm going to do right here before I even start this, right, a lot of you people are directing your irritation and anger at Jada Kiss and Fat Joe. You're directing your irritation at them. If you pay attention to the clip, they try to stop this madness. Okay? A lot of you people, we need gatekeepers. This is why everybody shouldn't have a podcast. There should be a 300% tariff on podcast equipment. Jada Kiss can't pod. He needs to get off the every form of unflattering remark that you guys wanted to take out on Jim Jones. You directed it at Fat Joe. It was misguided because the simple fact of the matter is Fat Joe tried to stop him. If you really pay attention, he's not going to get in a fist fight with this dude over this. And Jada tried to change the subject a little bit. Then he brought it back. And Jim Jones wanted to cook. I'm going to play it right now. We're going to have a conversation. But I'm telling you right now, you guys are misguided talking about they need to cancel that show. You guys just upset about some other shit that don't got nothing to do with this actual episode. I'm just going to be honest. So let me play this Joe and Jada, this clip, right? And I'm going to be stopping it here and there just to have a conversation. But I just want to let you guys know they did try it. And I'm gonna prove it to you that that Fat Joe tried to stop it. But what happened was Jim is a very, like he said, passionate guy. And he started to get in his feelings. And he started to feel like, yo, these guys playing with me. Stop playing with my name. And I try to watch this, gang, I try to watch stuff with an open mind, right? I said, I'm not going to take the headlines into this interview. Because headlines be cheap. Headlines be shock value just to grab you, I said, I'm not going to take that headline into this. I'm going to go in open mind. And when I listen to it, it's fucking terrible. I'm listening to this and I'm cringing. I'm like, gang, you really saying this shit. Like, you're not like, no one's coercing you. You're saying shit that really you should know better. Like, it's crazy shit. But he's saying it, so I want to have this conversation. Let me play this real quick.
Saw a clip on the Instagram where a young kid was comparing you to Nas and saying that you got
that's my young boy
big
right there.
hits.
He's wild.
Yo, he looked to you. He learned how to wear the BB Simon belt from you. He got his swag. Like, how crazy is that? Because in my...
Let me stop it there. See, this is where people start to feel like belts and watches and chains and jackets have become a representation of hip hop. That's only one part of it, gang. Yes, we've had Dapper Dan and all this and that and the polo and this and that and the third, right? We've had all the low lives going in the store and the Macy's or whatever, bum rushing and taking all the polos and this and that and the third, yada, yada, yada. We've always been obsessed with fashion, but that ain't make you a better rapper. If some niggas dress their ass off, can't rap worth shit. So this is what happened when you get too consumed with how the fashion look on a motherfucker. This is the problem we got right now. And young Eli is caught up in this issue, okay? Where he's equating his fondness for how cool Jim Jones appears to be and how slick he dresses to him being more relevant to somebody who's literally a legend in this business.
My era, you know what I'm saying? Nas is like a god,
In
right?
my era too. I mean,
So to be compared,
let me
that young kid out.
Let me.
He was young, and we loved that he loved Jim Jones. I want you to break it down.
Let's break this down. I admired Nas, but remember Nas' first record, The Barbecue, came out when I was in 11th grade. Yes. So Nas was my idol when I was young. Like you did, came to dressing, the wordplay, the music, everything. I was a superior Nas fan. Period. I'd never take that away from him. But then as I got in the game, you got to realize that your rivals would be idols, and not to take anything away from that. I developed my own style and my own lane that these kids start to gravitate towards the same way I gravitated towards Nas when I was younger and things.
It's so much wrong with this statement. First of all, salute to Jim Jones, but Jim Jones is making it like this was like he was like 7, right? When you was in high school, Nas was in high school. We're not gonna make it like, oh yeah, when Nas was when I was young, I gravitated to Nas. You weren't that young. You weren't that much younger than Nas. Okay, let's just be honest. You were the same age. So you were idolizing a man that could have been in your same lunchroom with you. What Jim is doing here, right? He's making it like oh, idols become rivals. Well, you weren't really his rival. Y'all not playing. He was doing this thing years before you got in the business. So it's not an idols versus rivals thing, right? But he's making it like that. And I don't remember. I remember slightly when Jim Jones kind of came at Jay-Z back in the day when Dipset was coming at Jay-Z. And they were doing their thing. Let's just be honest. They were doing their thing as Dipset. I don't remember Jim Jones being on Jay-Z's level lyrically or even in any kind of way. And I don't remember Jim Jones being on Nas' level lyrically or any kind of way. No one would ever let this comparison happen. But somehow Jim Jones is saying that he's my idol. He used to be my idol. Now he's my rival. No real rapper is going to be like, yo, that's my rival out of nowhere. Right? We all get it. It's a competitive business. We're all trying to reach the same numbers, this, that, and the third. But respectfully, Jim Jones really only had that one moment where he could even compare with these two guys who were doing hit records for years. Jay-Z and Nas been going at this for years. Since the early 90s, gang. Right? Am I bugging out? And now Jim Jones is considering himself a rival of these two master wordsmen who have, before he got in the business, while he was in the business, after he's cooled off in the business, they have been at a high level. Jay-Z just did the verse on DJ Khaled, right? He just did that verse. The whole industry shut down. The damn verse is 3 minutes long. Got the whole world, whether you loved it, hated it, indifferent about it, you listened to it. The whole internet stopped and went and listened to God did, right? Nas just went, every time Nas dropped, the internet goes nuts. He do the same numbers. He'll do 30,000 the first week, 35, 45. That's what all these young dudes doing. He outselling these young dudes. As an old man, that's not relevant. But at the same time, here we are. Jim is talking about my rival, right? I don't see it. Let me keep this pushing.
It's like that. It's a whole different generation. We talking about 94, 93. I was in 11th grade. Nigga, it's 2025. There's a big gap there. You know what I mean? And I want people to understand that. So when Shorty's telling people that, yeah, he's 20-some years old. That goes to show the part of the era that he's in, that I came into light and started going crazy that these kids love me. They don't really know who Nas is.
Stop. First of all, just because this one kid claims he doesn't know Nas, that don't mean no kids don't know Nas. Second of all, Nas don't make music for kids. Nas makes real hip-hop, right? He makes real music. He makes big records. He obviously sells a lot of units with those records. Nas touring every year. You can literally go on tour every year. You can go and catch Nas on tour almost every year. He's somewhere touring. Packed out stadiums, not stadiums, but arenas everywhere. So it's not like this guy can't fill a room. Like that, when you're not relevant, you can't fill a room. Right? All of that internet stuff that they're thinking that Jim Jones is, you seen what happened when these internet things. Listen, Bobby Shmurda got 5 million followers. Bobby Shmurda got 5 million followers, couldn't sell one ticket on the 32-city tour that he booked. So all that, he's relevant. That shit means nothing in the real world. If you can't get nobody to buy a ticket to your show, you're not relevant. Okay? So all of this, I'm relevant. I'm wearing Ed Hardy and Vamp Life. All that sound good. And I'm like, again, I'm not going to get mad. I'm not trying to talk crazy about Jim Jones, but I just need y'all to understand what's going on. Like, from the naked eye, and a lot of these people that just live life through Twitter, yeah, Jim Jones is more relevant than Nas because Nas ain't on Twitter. He ain't on there every day trying to do this, that, and the third. Okay? Nas is very private. You're going to hear about Nas on a record that he wrote. He going to tell you a little bit and keep it at that. Right? You and Nas family, it ain't messy. It ain't a lot of shit going on. Nas is his family's clean. Everything is cool. It ain't a lot of nonsense. So he's not seeking the same things as you. These young kids, they want messy shit. Right? They want to see a motherfucker on Love and Hip Hop. They want to see nonsense. So yeah, it's going to seem cool when you're actively seeking out to be looked at as cool, and you're going out your way to dress the part, act the part, Jim Jones, he's showing himself in the gym and this and that and the third, doing push-ups on the light pole. Then yeah, you're seeking out relevancy. It's going to appear that you're relevant, but you can't, like Kenny say, you can't fake influence. And I'll go a step further. Let's do this. I'm gonna go a step further. Let's go to Eli's neighborhood. Pick out the biggest part. And let Nas do a free show and let Jim Jones do a free show and see who's going to be more relevant. See who more people going to be there. I'm just going to be honest. I'm talking about no openers, nothing. Just say, Jim Jones going to be at such and such park. Saturday or whatever. Free show. And then say Nas going to be at the same park. And free show and see what happened. See, young Eli don't understand. He think because everybody think that Jim Jones is cool online and they hitting like and this, that, and the third, that he's more relevant. And Jim Jones seemed to feel the same way because he contacted young Eli and told him, good job. Right? But what we're not going to do is let these old head niggas disrespect our elders that are fucking great. And he reiterated that, I love Nas, this, that, and the third, but you can't love a nigga and then say, I'm fucking more relevant than him. Let me keep this pushing, because it wouldn't matter. All right? Even if he's my rival, I should never be like, yo, check my shit, put my billboard, and I'm damn dead ass wrong. I'm fucking mad wrong. I'm out of pocket. Right? Out of fucking pocket, completely dead ass wrong, and you fucking beating on your chest with some shit you're losing bad. Didn't even fucking check the shit. You didn't Google the shit whatsoever. This is a nigga feelings and emotions. Right? Pay attention to what's going on, gang. You sound crazy out here. I'm just gonna be honest. Let me finish.
22. He's born in 03.
Not all of them. Some of them though. But
You know what I mean?
a lot
Like-
of them though.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
it's the era.
Some music.
No,
There's some kids that.
no, I love that.
There's some kids that love
My
hip
son's
hop.
20, so I mean,
But he's your son.
He's your son.
He's your son.
No, but he knows
My
that.
son.
See, and it's getting worse, gang. It's getting worse, gang, because now he's making it like the kid. Did he say it like? Let me make sure he said it. Yeah.
mean, they
my
know
son,
about
my son
Nas,
can't tell
but-
you one Nas record. You heard? Like, let's keep it a buck here.
So he just said, gang, I'm not gonna get mad, gang. I'm not gonna get irritated. But what's happening right here is he's making it like Jada. That's your son, so he should know who Nas is because you're Jada. Right? What does that mean? So you're not telling your son who Nas is when he's your fucking idol? But you're not telling your son who the fuck Nas is? But Jada's kid should know? That ain't no flex. That sound like user error. Your kid should know. Don't be proud of no shit like that. That your kid don't know who Nas. He don't know one song by Nas. This is what I talk. When I talk to people, gang, and they tell me shit like that, it make me look at them sideways. I'm just going to be honest. Old heads ain't doing their job. And see, this is what it is. When and I got some like Fliz that does a podcast with me. He makes sure his kids know hip hop, what it is, and what's going on. Right? Back in the day, he plays it around them all the time. I know a lot of people, TJ, everybody, we all played hip hop around our kids. Biggie, Jay-Z, all that old shit. The kids gonna hear it. Just like they're gonna hear Michael Jackson and all that other shit, right? They're gonna hear it. That's your job. You can't have that kid at the cookout not knowing who the hell people are, waiting on Jim Jones records to come on. Just gonna be honest, ain't gonna be a lot of them. So if your kid at the party thinking that Jim Jones records coming on, I don't know about a lot of Jim Jones records gonna be coming on, gang. I'm just gonna be honest. But you're gonna hear If I Ruled the World, right? You might even hear Uchi Wally, but you're gonna hear some Nas shit in there. And he don't even make music for that. But what the problem is right here is we somehow give the kids the power to pick and choose, and then we say that's what's cool. You old heads are embarrassing. You're embarrassing, gang. It's embarrassing to get up there and say, my son don't know no Nas records. That's a user error. It's disrespectful to the culture, and you need to check yourself if your son don't know no hip-hop by Nas. And homeboy on here, young Eli, who parents or whatever, whoever, I don't know what's going on with him, but he don't know no Nas record except for on 2K. Well, shit, he on 2K should tell you something. They put him on a video game because he has that much influence and that much power in his business. But you're not putting two and two together. You're saying the only records I know about Nas, they on the 2K video game. Well, you know how many millions of copies that shit sold, gang? That means you and every other YN heard Nas. Make this shit make sense, gang. But this is where the disconnect is when the motherfucker hear Nas on a multi-million-dollar video game and try to disrespect him and say he ain't really popping. Just because you don't know don't mean you right. All right? Let me keep this moving.
Yeah,
but let's
keep it a buck. You heard? Let's keep it a buck because you'll bring it up. There must be some type of misconception or what's that word? When it comes to Jim Jones and what Jim Jones have done in this game. A lot of these rappers.
We made him take the darkies off.
A lot of these rappers have done a tremendous job, and I take nothing away from them. But they forget, I got a hell of a catalog. Me, Jim Jones, myself. Gold records, platinum records, gold albums, platinum albums. No, me, Jim Jones. No diplomats, no nobody else. Me, Jim Jones. Check my track record, then check everybody else's track record. Then go to the billboards and check all my entries, then check all them niggas' entries and shit like that. And I'm not taking nothing away from nobody, but I hear the comparisons and then niggas be trying to act funny when it comes. No, I've been spanking a lot of this shit. I'm talking about the industry. I've been putting on. So let's not get into that where we get into numbers and I gotta show you the statistics of what I've done. You heard to what other people was done. You heard them. If you want to go to the billboard entries, pull up Nas billboard entries, then pull up my billboard entries.
Listen, man, I do these videos as if the person I'm talking about is right here and they're watching. So I try to be respectful, and I'm going to be respectful as if Jim Jones is watching this video, right? Gang, I told you. I wasn't going to get irritated. It's really hard, though, because this is crazy because I'm going to go through some stats. Salute to whatever YouTube, Twitter user, and I get it that Jim Jones passionate. You're supposed to be passionate about your career and yourself, right? And the simple fact, I'm passionate about Nas. I'm just going to be honest with you. And I do say shit like Nas won the battle, Jay-Z won the war. I say shit like I understand that. I understand, but Nas is my guy, right? I do say shit. I do say Nas is the greatest lyricist of all time. Of anybody that ever rap, Nas beat everybody, hands down. There's no one better. So you got to understand what you're dealing with when you're dealing with me, right? But somebody, a Facebook user, a Twitter user, they had the wherewithal to compare these two artists against each other. And the final tally was 22-2, right? And I'm going to tell you every stat that they did. I don't know what program they used this on. Maybe it was Spotify or whatever, but let me just read this. On-demand audio streams. Look like Spotify. On-demand audio streams. Gang, I'm trying not to get irritated. I'm just going to be honest. This just bothers me, gang. Because it's like niggas just say silly shit, bro. Right? And just like, it's like, why? Like, just because you mad don't mean you right, gang. Like, you're not even close to this man. 15.8 million monthly listeners, right? Jim Jones has 1.7. Lead streams. This guy, Nas, got 7.4 billion. Jim Jones has 604 million, okay? Featured streams, 2.3 billion. Jim Jones got 249. Monthly revenue, this is the monthly revenue, which, again, this appears to be Spotify, or one of these things, right? It's Spotify, right? $274,000 from monthly revenue just for Nas. Jim Jones is $23,000. Half of the stuff he don't even have data for because it's not even relevant data, right? And that's just the numbers of the relevant guy over Nas, right? Nas, on-demand audio streams, has a B+ rating, Jim Jones has a C+ rating. The sales data, Nas has a B for his sales data. And Jim Jones has a D. Okay? His Spotify statistics, Nas has a B-, Jim Jones has a C+. I guess that's okay. But they're not even close because Nas got 309 billion lead streams and Jim Jones has 324 million. And I get it. It's you feeling away, you get the rumbling in your tummy, and you start wanting to defend yourself. Sometimes you gotta do the fucking math, gang. I'm just going to be honest. Let me continue.
Listen, we can't compare the two. What I'm trying to tell you is
I want to go there.
Hold on.
I want to go down the line now because now we're going down the line.
See, right here is where Fat Joe try to steer him, try to like, let's get off this because this gonna be bad. Like somebody gonna really take offense to this, which is the whole hip hop culture. They're gonna take offense to you saying this, right? But it is what it is, and now you force us to pull out because when he first said it, I said, damn, yo, bro, on some shit. Like, wow, I know it's crazy, but I don't know the numbers. Like, so all they do is force motherfuckers to once again put Nas back in the zeitgeist and go check the fucking numbers. This nigga's the Harlem Globetrotters compared to this nigga. Nas is the nigga on the Harlem Globetrotters, bouncing the ball off your head, throwing it through your knees, and you like the white guy like this trying to figure out where the ball at. You put it on your head, take it off, bounce it between your legs, bounce it to his man. The man put it on his shirt. He like, they playing with you, gang. You're not even close, gang. You're the goofy team that make the Harlem Globetrotters look like freaking absolute world-class basketball stars. Because you can't score, you can't do nothing with them. This is what it looked like. It's funny business. This is comedy, gang. It's not even close. But you got these young people believing this. Let me continue.
He's a rapper and I'm a rapper.
Listen,
no. Let's go statistically.
It feels great.
Let's go statistically. Well, we just did that.
No, but I want to go statistically because when people be like,
I feel the same way.
See, Joe trying to save him right here, gang. He trying to save him. He trying to save him. It ain't working because he's so worked up, and I get it. We're passionate. But a lot of times people use passion for some shit to say some fucked up shit that they really believe in their heart, but it ain't fucking true.
And forget about the numbers. My numbers back up.
Let me step up to the forefront.
Thank you.
Us in the music of hip hop culture have a problem. Is a thing, and there's nothing. The world goes off numbers, but in hip hop, we don't pay enough homage to those before us the correct way, and sometimes it's even myself. So it gets no other genre of music. Fucking, I don't even know who to use.
Yeah, but you gotta understand, hip hop is like basketball.
Jelly Roll's never gonna say that about
hip hop is like basketball. John Moran get on the call with LeBron. He's going to kill LeBron. So this is what this is about.
Any of that shit is murder.
This is what this is about. There's nothing that could. There's never is me. Putting me up against anybody. I'm taking me every time.
There's nothing wrong with having confidence in yourself and your abilities, but it's another thing to talk crazy shit. That's like a nigga hyping himself up that he's Jordan. Jordan is doing what Jordan does in his fucking prime, and you're gonna be like, get me on the floor with Jordan, I'm gonna tear his ass up. It sound good till you on the floor with Jordan, right? You're not even playing in the same league with this guy. I'm just gonna be honest. You're a rapper by default because you're rapping and making rap songs, but you're not getting nowhere near the kind of love that Nas gets in this culture. You haven't done what he's done. You already said it yourself. When the barbecue came out, I was his biggest fan. He been doing it since the barbecue. That was 1992. And we still passionately defending Nas in 2025. You don't have that kind of love. You never will. Just going to be honest. So it's offensive to Nas fans like myself to have you disrespect them and try to make it that you're on his level. Yeah, you're a rapper, but it's different levels to this shit and you know it. A motherfucker come out right now could be like, yo, Jim Jones, I'm on his level. He's not on your level. Some dude that just came out of nowhere, some dude out of Harlem. He hungry. He got nice bars, this and that and the third. He put out a hit single. That don't mean he's on your fucking level. It is what it is.
Every time.
Okay,
every
but
time.
let me say something though, Jim.
In every category,
Jim,
I get busy.
You started off saying you grew up watching Nas. The only problem,
I didn't take that away from
the only situation I'm saying now to you, right? There is no situation.
I always tell people
kids should worship you.
You fucking started.
No, I'm not doing this. I did not know I
Nas
was
gonna be
going
mad
there.
at y'all because you're really friends with him.
He gonna be
You heard?
mad at you.
Not me. I don't know him. You heard?
Oh, he's a beautiful guy.
I understand
That's my
that.
brother.
I know he's a
But he
beautiful
gonna be
guy.
mad at y'all.
Well,
Why
I'm
would you bring my
mad at
name
me.
up in that conversation, bro? Like,
He
come
just
on,
asked
bro.
Yeah, but we didn't know all that.
What he
We
do
always-
all the time, something
Alright,
he
well,
saw on the internet
You're not
that
gonna
he
mention
didn't
me
have to
next to
ask.
nobody. I'm not gonna talk
You
my
didn't have
shit.
to do that.
I'm a pop mines every
Yo,
time.
fuck.
You heard?
Can we go?
I just
Can we
told
go?
the people
Good audio.
you're not doing
Uh-huh.
none of that. And
I'm
what did
looking.
he do?
Good
He went
audio.
over there and
You
did.
heard?
Listen.
Niggas don't even know about the audio.
Can we
you heard?
talk? Can
You
we
heard?
talk? Can we talk
Yeah,
about?
let's do it.
All right. I love this interview, although it was very painful. It was at a tough time. When I seen you, I don't forget where it was at. If it was Hot 97 or something, where you were just saying, "Yo, you a family man. You never made no excuses, even when you went through tough times. You know, you took care of your family. They never knew you was going through tough times." I applaud you with that interview. I feel like that's one of them classic interviews that stands out to me in hip hop music. Do you feel like after that interview now, do you feel like that's what you was talking about? Like, I'm gonna fight my way back to the top and I feel good right now about where I'm at in the world? Because I love that interview.
Well, that interview was just a testament of where I was at the time and the things that I knew I had to do in order for me to progress.
All right, I'm gonna end that right there. What he goes on forward is to say he gives Nas a little more praise and credit, says he always respectful to Nas, that he's just a rapper and he's passionate about his craft. And this is what I want to say. We passionate too. Right? This is why I'm on here, and I may be a little bit testy, a little emotional, low key. But the simple fact of the matter is, this is how it happens, where shit gets fucking misconstrued, and these young niggas that say some wild shit, and then the old nigga come along and be like, yeah, I'm that nigga, and you really not on the level of this guy. But then the history gets skewed, and you got these motherfuckers on Twitter making these dumbass comments like these two can be in the same category compared to against each other. They not even close. Right? Nas don't beat his chest, so somebody else got to do it. He's not gonna sit out here and try to show you his stats, and Nas gonna do his job. He's just gonna go out, tour, make his money, make his record, make another smacker. This nigga got 6 classes in the fucking row, 6 bangers in the fucking row. I don't know nothing about what else is going on the other side, right? Just gonna be honest. So the simple fact of the matter is, this is how stuff gets all messed up when they start making narratives that if nobody corrects it, then we get this nonsense. Little young Eli thinking he knows about hip hop. He really don't. We don't do this for numbers. We don't do this for stats. But it was called out, and we had to do it. We had to address the nonsense, right? Everybody know that Nas was one of the flyest dudes dressing. Nas been putting a lot of nice gear on. He been making a lot of people change their swag for a long time. He don't go out his way to tell you that. He just do it. And a lot of dudes bit his style and start trying to be like him. I'm just gonna be honest. So the simple fact of the matter is this is disingenuous, right? And I get it that you feel like whatever, but you should have checked the tape, you should have checked the stats, because you're not beating this man. You got real loud talking about put the stats. Well, let's just be honest, he killing you. He killing you in every single solitary way. There's so many people writing things on this, like the bigger impact, and it's so many people on Twitter. You go on
saying Jim
you
Jones
go on
has
Twitter.
more.
You go on Twitter right now. Everybody has. They're giving you more and more stats where you start to see how laughable it is to even put these two dudes in the same conversation. Not to mention rhyme wise, what Nas does just in pen and pad. That's what we really care about. What he does with his beats. And I know y'all like, oh, Nas don't pick these right beats. Nobody cares about that. What we care about, how good these albums are. And Nas is now getting the right beats. Right, Hit Boy and Nas, they're 6 albums in right now, and they making bangers. So he getting the right beats. He's making some of the best music of his life. And right now is the weirdest time to come at him, right? And you're using it. You're coming through this young guy. This kid almost a damn teenager, gang. He almost a teenager, so he don't know much. And as an elder, you should have corrected him. You should have been like, I appreciate you, you know what I'm saying these nice, kind things about me, da-da-da. But at the end of the day, I'm not going to pit myself against Nas. What he actually did is he went on the joke, and people blaming Fat Joe, blaming Jada Kids. Oh, you pitted him. He didn't pit him against nobody. This nigga asked him a question, and he went nuts. I'm just going to be honest. So, simple fact of the matter is, you pitted yourself against Nas, and you try to come out the winner, and then when you told everybody to go check the stats, everybody went to check the stats, and they not even close. Nas winning that, and Nas been independent for a while. Nas been doing this thing for a while, okay? Mass Appeal been doing their thing for at least 10 years. So, end of the day, right now, Nas is signing people. Nas is doing a lot of shit. Nas is making documentaries. He's carrying the culture forward. He's not just trying to advance himself, right? Nas just did the Biz Markie documentary, did a lot of shit. He's doing a lot. He do a lot of things for this culture to move it forward. Okay? So when you come for Nas, you coming for the culture. And certain niggas, we not having it. We not having it. I'll talk for them. And certain motherfuckers that ain't gonna talk for themselves. Kendrick ain't gonna talk for himself. Nas ain't gonna talk for himself. Jay-Z ain't gonna talk for himself. You know what? I'll do a mouthpiece for Hustler. I'll do the shit. You know what I'm saying? I'll be here. It is what it is. I'm not gonna do too much more talking, man. It is what it is. I already talked too long about this shit, man. Listen, CLBMG, head on over there. Let me know what you think in the comments, man. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe. I think I did a good job. I don't think I got too crazy. I didn't get too crazy with this. I didn't get mad. I don't think. Let me know what you think, man. CLBMG. Go ahead on over to black-yeti.com, black-yeti.com. See what they got going on. They ship all across the continental U.S. All right, every Wednesday night we go live. We will be talking about this. We go live on my channel and on 7 other platforms. It's called The What Show, me, TJ, and Fliz. That podcast, we talk about hip-hop and relevant things. All right, sports and this, that, and the third. All right, I'm going to catch you on the flip side, man. Peace.
Look, mission impossible to drop a few lines without dropping old times when Southern Hill was still a gold mine. When pistol grips was my shit and I sold mine. When Alias was not a show and they told mine.
Elevate your mind with high-quality THC infused products. BlackYeti.com. Black-Yeti.com.
CLB.